Thank you very much, Madam President. Colleagues, today I rise to present Assembly Bill 2943 by Assemblymember Lowe. This critically important bill protects LGBT people from the fraudulent practice known as conversion therapy. These efforts, also known as reparative therapy or other names, are a fraudulent business practice where people sell services and say, if you pay me money, I can make you no longer LGBT. There is absolutely no medical or scientific basis to support the sale of these supposed healthcare or psychological services. Indeed, conversion therapy is nothing short of psychological torture. And that is why the state of California has banned conversion therapy for people under the age of 18, to say we're not going to torture our LGBT children by trying to change them, quote unquote. And so this bill, very simple. You cannot sell these fraudulent services that don't work and that simply harm LGBT people. I want to be very clear. Too many LGBT people, particularly children, are committing suicide. And this happens, this unacceptable rate of suicide happens because we are told by society that there is something wrong or sick or amiss about who we are, and that we need to change to be quote unquote normal. Well, we don't need to change, and we certainly shouldn't allow people to commit fraud by selling services that harm people and that don't work. I want to be very clear what AB 2943 does not do, contrary to some of the claims that have been made during this legislative process. This bill does not prohibit the sale of the Bible. It's an argument that we've heard that's untrue. It does not in any way prohibit free speech. It doesn't prohibit anyone from speaking with a counselor, including a religious counselor, regarding their sexual orientation, as long as no money is exchanged, as long as no services are sold. Colleagues, this bill is long overdue. We should be protecting people from fraud. That's what we do in this legislature, in this state, and I respectfully ask for an aye vote.
Thank you, Madam Chair. As the member of the LGBT caucus who came out much later in life, I think that I can share a much different perspective about this. And first of all, I want to thank all of my colleagues on the floor, both Democrats and Republicans, for being so accepting of me when I did come out, because when you knew me in the Assembly, I didn't even know for myself that I was gay. It took me much longer to figure it out when I didn't have work as the only thing that was in my life, and I started to realize what I wanted for my future. It's a very painful process coming out to those that you know and that you love, because they have known you in a certain way all of your life, and there's this assumption that you're going to be like everybody else and that someday you're going to have a husband or a wife, and you struggle to figure out how to tell everybody one at a time that you're different and that you've chosen something else for your life. It's a very threatening, scary process. And everyone in our LGBT caucus has gone through that process in a different way, whether they're older or younger. And you see us here in the caucus, and we speak about the fact that we are gay, and we talk about bills and all of that, but I just want to remind you that going through that process is a very scary thing. What this bill is about is conversion therapy, not just therapy, but the word conversion. And conversion means that there's an ultimate goal and an outcome. And the goal and the outcome of this kind of therapy is that the person who believes that they are gay or who is questioning that will ultimately then make the decision for themselves that, okay, I can be not gay. I can change who I think I am or who I'm questioning that I am. Let me tell you, it is much easier to fit in and be like everybody else. When somebody finally reaches the point where they're questioning and they think that they are gay, they've gone through so much turmoil in their own mind and in their own heart. The most difficult thing to admit is to admit to yourself that you're gay, because you know that you're going to face being ostracized by people that you know and love. You wonder if they'll still accept you, though. You wonder if they'll treat you the same. So by the time you reach that point where you're wanting to talk to a therapist or somebody about it, you need love and support and respect for who you are. What you don't need is for someone to try to change you and tell you that you shouldn't be who you are, because the process is about being honest with yourself and honest with the people that you love. So again, I don't expect people to fully understand, but the word conversion, it defines an outcome. It means that you go through the therapy so that you can become ungay. And by the time you've realized that you're gay, you've struggled so much already. And that's the difference. That's what this bill is about. It's the point of conversion. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Madam President, members. I'm proud to be a co-author of this important bill with the other members of our LGBT caucus. And, proud to say on this floor, after years of struggling with my own spirituality, to say that God makes no mistakes and that I was absolutely born this way. And the issue with conversion, it already implies that there's something wrong with you, that you're somehow not normal. And it is those feelings that perpetuated the brutal murder of Gabriel Fernandez and Anthony Avalos by the hands of their own parents. Children that were tortured, children that were made to eat feces, that were burned with cigarettes because somehow they were not normal. Study after study shows that conversion therapy is ineffective, damaging, and truly counterproductive. We have in California, of course, as you all know, banned conversion therapy for minors. Under a bill I authored, we are now requiring the licensing of schools and outdoor programs that target vulnerable LGBT youth, including these so-called conversion camps. For the first time now, the Department of Social Services will have the opportunity to see what really is happening in these camps and to see if people are properly trained. So this bill is a perfect complement to that. That law will be fully implemented in the coming months. We know, members, trust me, we know, conversion therapy is a sham. There is not a practice out there that can change who I or my colleagues love. It is a matter of fact. And let me be clear, members. Let me be absolutely clear. We are gay by nature, but absolutely fabulous by choice. I ask that you support AB 2943.
Yes, Madam President, colleagues, thank you for this discussion. And I think it's always good to have these debates in public. I think it also shows, for those who are under the misimpression that the LGBT community's fights are over, that we won marriage equality, we got rid of Don't Ask, Don't Tell, so therefore it's all good, when we know that we still don't have a federal civil rights law, that it's still legal to fire people, to evict people in most states in this country because they are LGBT, that LGBT people are still being beaten and murdered. We have a long way to go. And regarding this bill, and I'm glad that my friend from Orange County raised the issues of lobotomies and electric shock therapy, and institutionalization. It wasn't that long ago that people like me, people like the senator from Bell Gardens, like our pro tem, like the senator from Stockton, not that long ago, that we would have been at risk of being put into an institution, of being lobotomized, of being subjected to electric shock therapy for no reason other than being LGBT. And we would never tolerate those procedures today. We would never tolerate it. It is absolutely abominable that it ever happened. It is torture. It's a violation of basic human rights. And yet, you still have people today, yes, they're not lobotomizing people, but people who are going out and basically selling snake oil and saying, if you pay me money, I'll make you not LGBT. That is a lie, it's fraud, it has no scientific basis, and we should not be allowing that in the state of California, and we should declare it to be a fraudulent business practice. I respectfully ask for an aye vote.